Oh my gosh, if you guys knew the amount of times it took me to record this video, and it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning right now, the amount of times it took me to film, the amount of takes I've taken, please watch this video to the very end. Hello, this is Mark Arroyo. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, this is the beginning of a new series I'm starting on my channel called Modern Day Classics. It is a series dedicated to examining modern day classic albums, in my opinion, from today to maybe 20 years ago. The first album we're going to be discussing this week is Tay-K's Santana World. And I know out there Santana World is a mixtape, but ideally everything out right now is an album. Nothing is really a mixtape. I mean, if it's body of work, especially in this generation, we call everything an album. I mean, the mixtape hasn't been as important as it was back then, like in 07, 06, like Lil Wayne or something like that. So that's why I'm considering Santana World a classic album for right now. Also, because of YouTube's crazy copyright system, I'm not gonna be able to play Tay-K's music through the video, but if you are watching this on like your phone or your laptop, you could probably pull up another device so that the songs I mentioned in this video you could probably listen to while I talk. Tay-K, born as Tamor Trayvon McIntyre, is an American rapper and songwriter born in June 16, 2000. He was born in Long Beach, California, but his main origins reside in Arlington, Texas. Tay-K's father was born in Compton, California, and both him and his mother, Tay-K's mother, were both under the Compton Crips gang at the time. Tay-K's mother moved him and his sister to Las Vegas, Nevada when he was 8 years old, and when Tay-K's father was put out of prison, he took his entire family and moved them to Arlington, Texas with the intentions of a better and safer life for his family. Tay-K got into rapping early as a member of the Daytona Boys in Texas, and at the age of 15 he was posting on SoundCloud self-produced tracks online such as Biff, Xanon, Sly Cooper, and Mega Man. And in terms of musical influences, the main two being Chief Keef and Soulja Boy, who Tay-K considers Soulja Boy as his favorite rapper. With his association with the Daytona Boys, Tay-K's criminal activity began to rise and rise. I apologize for the pronunciations, but the first criminal activity he was associated with was the murder of 20-year-old Sarah Mutschneider, done by fellow Daytona Boys member Eric Jamal Johnson, also known by his stage name Santana Sage, and with this incident began to surge more and more bad incidents to occur. Tay-K and 6 other people were arrested in July 2016 on capital murder charges related to home invasion that ended the life of a drug dealer in Mansfield, Texas. Tay-K and his other friends have attempted to rob and steal from Zachary and Ethan Walker for drugs and money, but what eventually happened was the death of Ethan Walker as they were attempting to leave the house after the robbery, and after that Tay-K was later put on house arrest. A few days before Tay-K's hearings were held, Tay-K left and fled to San Antonio, Texas, and just before cutting off his ankle monitor, Tay-K tweeted, "F this house arrest S. F12, they gonna have to catch me on hood." While Tay-K was running like a track star around the country, he made his way to Elizabeth, New Jersey, where he recorded his most famous song, The Race. Throughout early 2017, Tay-K was captured in a lot of alleged robberies and alleged murders, but he was eventually captured on June 30th, 2017 by the U.S. Marshal Services, and wow, I just dashed to a blank. But while he was incarcerated, he released his only debut and only real body of work, Santana World. Santana World is a hip-hop gangsta rap trap album that released on July 29, 2017 and consists of 8 songs that barely reached 3 minutes. The songs on this project are typically structured in a one intro, one verse, and a chorus, and then an outro on every song. A song structure that is very prevalent in a lot of hip-hop music today. The sonics and overall music production is black, harsh, gritty, and very much in your face, but also contains trippy and atmospheric beats that complements but also contradictory sounds as well. It's as if Tay-K subconsciously implanted a style that represents today. Not saying that he started it, but I feel like Tay-K was a part of this weird wave in hip-hop where there would be a young kid who made rap music but got involved in criminal shit and then went to jail, and then his music popped off. It's a very interesting marketing strategy. The songs on this project like The Race and Gotta Blast and I Love My Choppa will have you feeling a lot of harsh emotions. Especially, it makes you feel like you're invincible, it makes you feel like you're hard, it makes you feel like you're a genuine character in GTA, or it makes you feel like, I always compare it to like a drive-by shooting on top of clouds or something like that, especially on songs like Gotta Blast. And Tay-K complements this with his adolescent voice but almost villainish attitude. Themes I got for this album are obviously like violence, but also there's hatred against an op, there is sexual acts with women rather aggressively, there is a sort of nihilistic attitude, and there's also a constant feeling of living recklessly and living like how you want to live. Now, for modern day classic videos, I always put my personal pros and cons for each album. And for this album, Santana World, the pros are that it's extremely easy listening. Depending on the type of music you listen to, it's extremely easy to listen, even for the most casual listener. The beats are very catchy and vibrant and energetic. There's pretty much no skips at all because, you know, it's not really that long. And Tay-K, I feel like when listening to his music, Tay-K can genuinely rap. Like, he can actually rap his ass off if he wants to. Now, I do have my cons for this album, and please, these are just my opinion, it's just my personal feelings, don't go crazy on me. I don't want Tay-K fans harassing me in the comments if anybody watches this. My cons are that it's very repetitive, you know, just the themes that I just said is very repetitive. He doesn't have much, there isn't like a big message like a Kendrick Lamar, but he doesn't have to be. His guest verses can't really hold a candle next to him. Tay-K is pretty much the main star of the show. I don't really get hype for the guest verses like that. And this is like a hit or miss. This is just like a kind of like wishy-washy, but it kind of doesn't matter. The album's really short. It goes by like this. You wouldn't even know that you listen to a full body of work. And now in today's modern age, that probably isn't like a big problem because, you know, people in my generation, we have an attention span of a goldfish, so this isn't a big problem for other listeners. But for me, I just wanted more out of it. For me at least. When I was re-listening to this album for this video, it reminded me of Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. Not in terms of worldly importance and global influence on hip-hop, but in terms of Tay-K and Snoop Dogg's age, thematic direction, and conflicts these men had at the time. When Doggy Style released, Snoop Dogg was about 21 to 22 years old, and his album gained a lot of controversy for his subject matter and persona, and how Snoop Dogg perfectly illustrates his lifestyle on a track. I feel like it is exactly what Tay-K was doing on this project. Now, the obvious big difference with these two men is that Snoop Dogg is an absolute legend, and Doggy Style influenced an entire generation of rappers, and Doggy Style is one of the best debut albums ever released and one of the greatest albums ever made. And again, I'm not saying Santana World is on par to Doggy Style's greatness at all, promise me. I'm young, but I'm not stupid. I'm only bringing this up because the two men's look at the time and how other people view them, as well as thugs who made music. And also, Snoop was pretty much a young man going towards adulthood, and when you listen to Santana World or just Tay-K in general, and you read his lyrics, you expect a grown man, but it's really an actual child. Now, for me as a music lover, I love honesty in music. I love your honesty in songwriting, production, brand, appearance, everything. I love your honesty. And when I listen to Tay-K's music, I don't listen to it in terms of how I see rappers today, where is it a facade, is it for clicks and likes, is it for this, is it for that. When I hear Tay-K's music, and I don't want this to be viewed as some like this silly court case he got where he got like 55, I'm gonna mention that later, but I'm not trying to be like those type of people where I'm gonna use his rap lyrics against a black man. First of all, I'm not against I am not against the negative, or I'm not against the bringing down of a black man. I am just making a video on this. Don't take this too deep. But I am not with the whole rap lyrics on court thing. I just want to mention that clearly. But when I listen to Tay-K's music, I don't view him as sort of like a liar. I don't have to look at him second guessing. I hear what he's saying, and I don't think that he's faking it at all. I really think he's really about it. Like, I don't think he's faking it. Well, I'm not in agreement with his lifestyle choices. I do respect him for putting his life in music and putting his real honest self in music and not faking it like a lot of rappers do nowadays. After a long trial, it was decided on July 23rd, 2019, Tay-K will be sent to prison for 55 years for murder charge and aggravated robbery. And I also failed to mention earlier that his friend that he escaped with in 2017 while he was running like a track star in the country, he got captured too in 2017. I forgot to mention that earlier on in the video. So I forgot to mention that Tay-K will be eligible for parole. He won't be eligible for parole at least until half of his sentence. So if it's 55 years, he won't be eligible until at least 27 and a half years from now. So I'm 18 now, so I'll be at least 30, 45, 35, around that age. So it'll be a long time. And I feel bad for Tay-K because I feel like there's a lot of young black boys or men who have stories like Tay-K, and we're just like, Tay-K is one of the few people of that scene where they're obviously got mainstream, and it's just sad because people got killed, people got robbed, and just a lot of negative environment, just a lot of negativity that shouldn't have been happening in the first place. But hopefully Tay-K has learned his lesson. I pray for the families that have been assaulted and or killed, and I pray that we don't hear stories like a Tay-K's or just a negative influence on young black men from here on out. All for watching this week's video, and thank you for watching the first episode of a new series, Modern Day Classics. If you like this episode, make sure to comment down below any album ideas you want me to dive into, and I'll look them over and I'll probably pick yours and do them a whole video on it. So again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more videos, comment down below, and hit the notification bell as well. I upload every Friday at noon, so be here by next week. So yeah, this is Marco Arroyo. Farewell.